Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Jasmine Navarro, certified wellbeing expert working with educational institutions and companies, helping them support their family wellbeing. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference on people's lives. And today I'm super excited to be talking to Marta. Hi Marta, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us about yourself and what you do?
Hi, Jasmine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Marta, as you just said, and I am a happiness coach on a mission to help women step into their power and live a life that is truly authentic and true to them. I'm also a content creator over on Instagram, where I focus on travel and female empowerment.
Oh, wow. It sounds absolutely amazing. Let me just say hi to Bashir. Hi, Bashir. How are you doing? And hi to everybody else who's joining. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments and we will do our best to answer them. So, Marta, you chose, and I absolutely love this title, Living a Heart-Centered Life and the Benefits. What does that mean? Hi, Sandeep.
Right. Yes. So heart-based life, for me at least, it's all about alignment, and I'm so excited about this topic.
Oh, yeah.
So excited, in fact, that it's one of the things that I teach in my group workshops. But it's all about alignment. It's about living a life that's authentic to you on a deeper level, that reflects your values, your dreams, and guides you towards your purpose, really. So it's a fulfilled life where I suppose you could say you act from a place of alignment with those beautiful desires that sit over there in the bottom of your heart.
Wow. And why, for people like who may not talk about this topic quite often, like why is that important? Why is it important to be aligned?
I think, especially in today's society where we spend so much time rushing, rushing to work, rushing to get our work done, to then rush back home and do whatever's left to do, we often forget to stop ourselves and think about what are the things that really genuinely make us happy and that really add to our life. So I think it's about taking a step back and asking ourselves those questions, like, are the things that I do every day, do they actually bring me joy? Do they bring me closer to the person that I want to be? Because I think, we all might have different goals and a different vision for our lives, which is beautiful. But at the bottom of it all is this desire to just be happy and fulfilled, and asking ourselves what that fulfillment actually is, and then taking the steps to get there is a really beautiful process. So I think really that's the importance of it, living a joyous, fulfilled life that we often forget about because we're too busy living a life that's not truly ours.
Wow, no, I love that. And being aligned, like for me, being aligned means well, like what you've just said, actually. So like my mind and heart and intuition is all sort of thinking the same and on the same page. That's how I feel like being aligned is. Is that the same for you?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. It's about living from this place of heart and soul and sort of mind alignment. So basically, like for me, it's about making sure that in, whatever way possible, sometimes it could be a very small, simple thing that I do every day, that I create a sense of alignment in my day where every day, no matter what, I do something that reflects all those things that you just mentioned. That I live authentically, that I do the things that reflect my purpose, that reflect my values and who I am. So 100%, it's all about aligning.
I love that. And Bashir says, great, Jasmine. Thanks, Bashir. Ali says, Islam will make you happy. Thank you so much, Ali, for your comments. Okay, yes. So how do we, so basically, if we're not happy, then probably we're not aligned.
Yes. Yeah.
Where do we start? Like, what kind of, like, I know you probably work with all different kinds of clients. Like, what kind of problems do they come to you with, and how do you help them become aligned?
Yeah, I would say the biggest problem is really this feeling of being stuck. And I'm sure you felt this way throughout your life. I certainly have. Yeah. And actually, it's great. It's great to feel stuck. It's a great opportunity to sort of reevaluate and go back to ourselves and ask all the right questions. A lot of the time when we're stuck, what it really means is that we are out of alignment with ourselves. And there's a lot of questions we can ask. But one that I think is really cool is understanding our values. So basically, our core values, which can be anything from a deep need for a sense of freedom, which is certainly my core value, to family life, or creating a sense of balance. So it's about getting clear on what is that core value that drives us, and we can have a different core value for each area of our life, of course. And then looking at whether the things we do day to day are reflective of that value. So for example, if your core value is freedom, but you feel that you're constantly compromising it in a really negative way, because of course in life there has to be an element of compromise. But if you're constantly sort of neglecting and forgetting yourself while serving others, while, you know, chasing after a job or whatever else there is, this is an opportunity for us to reevaluate what we're doing and align our actions to that value that is so important to us.
Wow. So how do we do that? So say, like how do you, like, do you help your clients find their values? Because I know there's many different exercises. Like some people, maybe they don't know what their values are, or maybe they do, but it's subconscious. They haven't really brought them to their conscious.
Yeah. So of course, there's a lot of different things I would go over. I suppose to simplify, our values are really just the things that matter to us the most, you know. Yeah. And sometimes it's also this feeling, this uncomfortable feeling, almost like a piece of rock stuck in your shoe that keeps coming up, you know, when you get stuck in routines or in a life that doesn't align with you, when you feel yourself drained and exhausted. A lot of the time, based on the wonderful ladies I worked with, it's the job that they are doing. Perhaps it's too demanding or misaligned or just not interesting enough. If you are a curious, creative person and you get yourself stuck in a job that in no way reflects that, which is something that certainly happened to me, that's going to start reflecting on your life. So it's about sitting down and just asking yourself, right, okay, like what matters to me the most in life? And if you're not sure, a good starting point would be, I believe James Clear, the writer of Atomic Habits, he actually does have a list of some of the core values listed on his website. So it's a matter of reflecting on that and also identifying some of those with the help of, there's a lot of different tools. This one is just very simple. It's more of a list than a tool.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that because I think it is really important, isn't it? Just to spend a little bit of time with ourselves. So many of us, we just get so caught up, don't we? And we think we like, I always hear it, a lot of my clients, we try and change, the big things. I'm going to do all of this tomorrow, but it's not. It's about the tiny habits, like you mentioned that book. Maybe starting off by spending 5 minutes a day asking yourself one question, and just listening to the answers.
Exactly. And I love what you said there about listening. I feel like this is so important, especially for us women, because at the end of the day, we are living in this very much man-made world, right? It doesn't take into consideration our cyclic nature or the way that we are. So putting perhaps more of that feminine energy, the energy of being, the energy of allowing things in, the energy of trusting our intuition rather than constantly pushing forward, is also a really beautiful way of finding the right answers. And that's very much connected to mindfulness and spirituality. And that is also something I work with a lot, just to sort of allow our intuition to guide us, to find those quiet moments throughout the day where we can just, as you said, ask ourselves the right question or just unwind, because that's when the answers come in, not when we're running around, rushing through traffic. But about that time for ourselves.
I absolutely love that, because I feel like the more you listen to yourself and work on yourself, you do get to that point, don't you, where you realize that how you're being is what sort of, when you're in the right frame of mind with your being, then you're going to take the right action and do the right thing, aren't you? It's all about the being. This is what I've been working on the last couple of years, and I've realized, because before, I mean, you can get so caught up in doing, can't you? But if you're not coming from a place of your best self, then you can be doing things that are not really serving you. So I really love what you said about, well, yeah, aligning with who you are and being. It's about being.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really beautiful. It was quite revolutionary for me when I first sort of discovered
Yeah,
that
it is.
like, oh yeah, it's less about what I have to do to get to where I want to be. It's about who I need to become. Who do I need to be? What values, what character do I need to embody to then become the person that will take me from point A to B? And it's beautiful because it really kind of highlights you as the hero of your life.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And I think you can be quite resistant to it, because I know I was, because I was so used to doing. And people were saying, being. And I was thinking, no, I just need to do this first. And then I haven't got time to just be, I'm just going to do this, this, and this. But it really takes, for me, it took a lot of self-trust, letting go, which were quite huge things and scary, because it's quite uncomfortable, because I was like, but shouldn't I be doing something? But I think once you get over that and you get comfortable with just being, like you said, a whole new world sort of opens up.
Yes, that's so true. I agree 100%. And, I think it's all about unlearning, unlearning that, being busy is productive. Actually,
Yeah.
it's not. Like, being productive is about doing the things that get you to where you want to be, so you can live the most radiant expression of the life that you want, or of the person you want to be. So that is true productivity. And I agree. I spent many years working in tech. And if you've ever experienced that, you know how busy and hectic that can get. And
I'm not good at that stuff. So
yeah. So you don't really have the time to sort of stop and think, or rather you don't give yourself the time. There's always time. We just don't allow for that. So
what was your turning point in your life then? How did you suddenly become,
yes.
become aware of that?
Yeah, there's a couple of things really. So I think 10, 11 now, 11 years ago, I think, the time flies. I quit my office job to go on this solo trip to India and Southeast Asia. And I was meant to go away for 6 months, then move to London, get a sort of 9-to-5 job, but that never happened.
Oh, really?
I got so inspired by my travels that I decided to start working for myself, to start my own business that would allow me to continue living the way I have for the past 6 months, traveling wherever I want, and sort of building a life around what is right for me, rather than a job that I don't really enjoy just so that I can live for the weekend. So that really was a turning point. So I started working for myself, again in tech. So it was a little bit intense at times, but I did very much have the freedom, again, my core value, to live in a way that I wanted through travel. And I spent a good couple of years being location independent. And then off the back of that, I created my then blog, and now more of an Instagram channel, A Girl Who Travels, where I was showing women how they could do the same. And obviously, the more I focused on that, the more of the self-development and spirituality sort of started getting mingled in with the travel part, because both of those elements are really, really important to me, and at least became important over time.
Definitely. Did you work with like a coach or anybody, or did you just do it by yourself?
Yeah, so in the beginning, it was a lot of, I suppose, soul searching, a lot of reading and research. And I used to, go to meditation classes or yoga, or, a lot of sort of conversations with people within that sort of community. But I do have an absolutely fantastic life or transformational coach, and she's been incredible. I've been working with her for the past 3 years now.
Wow.
And yeah, she's a huge inspiration.
That's brilliant. I think, you could, I've worked with a lot of coaches too, and I think that can be really beneficial, but it's a joint thing, isn't it? It's working on yourself as well and working with somebody else. And Magna says rest is productive. Thank you so much, Magna. I completely agree with that. Rest is absolutely productive. What do you think, Marta?
Definitely. Yeah. Again, we can't pour from an empty cup, right? And I actually talk about this a lot on Instagram, because I think it's so important, especially for us women, because we do have a tendency to take on all those different roles. And not allow ourselves the time to rest. And it's so crucial. I mean, if we don't take care after our bodies, everything else is going to fall apart, right? If we don't have our health, our mental health, physical health. So absolutely, I'm all in for that.
Me too. And it's funny, isn't it? Because we all know that, like, especially, you know, nutrition, sleep, and all of this, we all know it's really important, but sometimes we don't know it at the same time as well, because, you know, there's nothing actually, what I've come to realize the more I work on myself, I don't know what you think, but there's nothing actually more important than, you know, what we put into our bodies, how we treat our bodies, our mind. You know, there's people, you know, I'm not judging anybody, but, you know, you see some people, they could spend a fortune on maybe material things, which is absolutely fine, but then they wouldn't care about what they're eating and things like that. And it's just like, there's nothing more important what we put into our bodies.
I agree. And I mean, you know, nutrition, it affects our way of thinking, our mood. It's almost like, you know, we are this vehicle for change that can create things in our life. So we have to treat it as such, right? Like if we infuse ourselves with good energy, positive thoughts, good nutrition, exercise, you know, things that really feed our soul, we will be so much more likely to live happy, fulfilled life. So 100%.
Exactly. And we'll attract, we'll be in the right mindset, we'll make the right decisions, we'll attract the right things in our life, and we'll just live our life. And Bashir says, when you let go, you grow.
I love that. I love that, Bashir. That's so true.
It's so true, isn't it? But it's not always easy, is it, to let go? I mean, for me, it took me a few years.
Yeah, it's difficult. And I think it's because we have so many expectations that we impose on ourselves, right?
Yeah.
The idea of what success is and what we should be doing, or sometimes it could be just letting go of the old version of ourselves that we got attached to, but actually the version of us that no longer serves us and has to go so that we can develop into the person we need to be to create the life that we want. But yeah, it's never easy.
No, it's so true, actually. It's so true. But it's so worth it. And you know, like they say, working on yourself, it is work, isn't it? It's not always bed of roses. It can be can be really challenging at times. It's not all easy, and you know, it can be like an emotional roller coaster, but I think it's all part of it, isn't it? It's like a never ending journey. So so what else about alignment then do we need to know?
Well, there's a lot of things. One of the things that I like to teach in my workshops is sort of, you know, obviously understanding your values. That's really important, but getting a little bit clearer on what it is that actually drives us. So sort of tapping into that sense of purpose. Because to me, and I'm sure to many others as well would agree, that having a sense of purpose is really key to living a fulfilled life. So when you wake up first thing in the morning, really like, the key to having a beautiful, happy, inspired day is to have something to look forward to. And that can be as simple as having a nice cup of coffee and a walk in the morning. I love doing that. But also a sense of purpose, something deeper than yourself. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, all right, okay, well, I'm going to move to India and start a business. It could be, you know, being an amazing mom, or it could be about deepening your spiritual connection or yourself, working on yourself. Or starting a new hobby or a new passion that really lights you up. So I think I would say tapping into that sense of purpose and figuring out what it is. And again, this can be different for each area of your life. There can be a sense of purpose for you as a mother, as a, you know, as a partner, or an overarching inner mission that you feel you have to fulfill. But tapping into that is quite important.
I love that. And I think it's really important as well to say that, I think you practically said it, but there's no right or wrong, is there? And I think it's once you start getting to the point where you realize, you know, it's not about what other people are telling you to do or what they're doing or anything like that. Like, we have to figure this out ourselves. Other people we can sort of learn from maybe, but at the end of it all, I think it's about having the courage to really, really be yourself, really, really listen to yourself, because, you know, you can, if everybody's doing something and you can just, but it might not work for you, but you don't want to be different. Even, you know, me, like at my age, I sometimes I have felt like that. Oh, I better not, you know, do that or something, because people don't like it or whatever. But now I think because I've worked on myself, I'm more courageous in what I do, even if I'm the only person who's doing it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care anymore. Yeah.
Love that. Good for you. That's amazing. And I feel like, that sort of like, what will people say? That is such a big issue for a lot of us, because we want to be accepted, right? But that's
Yeah.
also a really beautiful thing on our growth journey, because when we talk about people and opinions, okay, like what people are those people living the life that we want? Because if they aren't, then, well, I suppose their opinion on that specific topic doesn't really matter, because they aren't where we want to be.
Yes.
So it's best, to take advice from someone that actually does. And there's a lot of beauty in going against the current. I've certainly done that in my life, and it's not been easy, but that's kind of the fun part. It's a
Yeah.
bit of a roller coaster ride, and at times you're on the top and you're excited, and everything's great, and then you're crashing down and things aren't so good. But at least you're living, and you're
Exactly.
learning.
And you're living true. Yeah. And I was having a conversation the other day, and somebody said something about, I'm really confident in my personal life, but not in my work life or something. I'm not sure who to be or something. And I don't know, when he said that, I just said, well, you can only be yourself. Like if you want to be the best at something, you can only be yourself, because you can't be the best if you're not being yourself, if that, you know what I mean? And when I said that, I just thought, yeah, actually, it was just so clear. And it kind of, when I was talking to him, it really helped me, because I thought, well, yeah, you can only be the best at yourself. You can't be the best at anything else. And then I
No,
was just like, so, but yeah, I don't know. It was just like an enlightened moment for me.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah, because we try to maybe look at other people who are really successful, maybe, and think, right, I want to be like them because they're doing
Mm.
it. But we're never going to be like them, and it's never going to work how it's worked for them, because they're doing something true for them. We have to find our own way.
Exactly. And being yourself really is your superpower. There's no
Yeah,
one else like you. So
exactly.
practice that. And a lot of the time while we're busy telling ourselves, oh, I'm not good enough, there's 10 other, 10 people out there who are, impressed by our journey, or who wish that they had what we have, because the
Yes,
grass is always greener. So, one thing I started doing is spending way less time on Instagram, because again, Instagram or social media in general, it's like this big sort of highlight reel of everyone's top moments in
that's
their
true.
life. And
Yeah,
no matter how happy you are in your life, you will end up landing on someone's story and thinking, oh, I wish I was doing what this
yeah,
person's doing. Oh,
yeah,
that looks nice. And it really doesn't matter, because again, going back to living from a place of alignment with your heart, it's about doing what aligns with you.
exactly. And Bashir says growth mindset, leaving
Yeah.
your comfort zone, and aligning your values of work and passion would give your life meaning, and it would be sustainable.
Definitely. No, that's so true. And I love that mention about the comfort zone, because growth truly starts outside of the comfort zone. A lot of the
Yeah,
time, and that sort of goes back to, how as humans we're programmed. Our brain is built in a way that protects us from danger or perceived danger. So each time we're doing something new, and start to
yeah,
feel a little bit anxious and stressed, we sort of take this stress as a proof that there's something wrong, that we're in danger, that we should stop. But actually, it is just our innate mechanism in our brain that's been there since the cave ages, to keep us safe. So it's about telling ourselves, no, this is just growth.
yeah.
It feels a bit uncomfortable because it's new, because I'm learning, like, we are meant to be comfortable,
I love
uncomfortable.
that. Yeah, I absolutely love that. And even when I learned that, like I remember I saw this drawing, and it was just like a comfort zone, and then magic happens outside the comfort zone. And when I just saw that, and it wasn't that long ago, the beginning of my coaching journey, I was just like, oh wow. Because I think before I thought if I was uncomfortable, that meant something was wrong, and I
Exactly.
needed to quickly get comfortable again. But
Mhm.
I was so like glad that I learned that, because I was like, now I can jump into that fear,
Yeah.
and it's actually a good thing. It's going to help me grow rather than avoiding it like I had done all my life. And it's like, God, even if you don't know that, look how different your decisions can be.
100%. And yeah, I think again, we're meant to be uncomfortable, right? And I think if this is something that we learned perhaps earlier on, there's not so much focus on this, I suppose. The way the society is built is very much on like, okay, you know, it's changing, but I still think there's a lot of focus on stable jobs, stable this, stable that. And that's great and wonderful, especially if it works for you, if it makes you fulfilled, that's incredible. But if you want to do something slightly outside of that scenario, then discomfort is the number one thing to go. And it's all about sort of not trusting the fear. The fear is not telling you the real story. The fear is just fear.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. Bashir says, at the end, you're competing to become a better version of yourself moving forward.
Love it.
Absolutely true. No, yeah, I love what you said. Fear is not, doesn't mean that it's you need to stop. It's just you're doing something uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're growing. It's like growing pains. Like, you know, when we're young and
yeah. No, you're right. So is there anything else you want to tell us about alignment? I mean, you've told us many good.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things. If anyone watching has any questions, of course, feel free to pop them in. But for me, again, it's about perhaps going back to defining your why. You know, like what is it that really drives you? When you think about the things that you want, say you want to, I don't know, start a business, right? You want to start working for yourself. Ask yourself why. And it's so powerful. It's such a simple and obvious question, but it's actually really powerful because first of all, again, it connects you to your core value. So, okay, for me, the reason I wanted to have my own business was so that I could have the freedom to live how I want, to travel when I wanted, to live where I wanted. So that's great. By connecting ourselves to our value rather than just to the end goal, which is I want to have a successful business, we would be so much more likely to actually achieve it because we have a reason for it. You know, the entrepreneurial journey can be a wild ride and it's easy to get discouraged. So connecting yourself to the deeper reason behind it, it's so beautiful. You can even, you know, go as far as to write a little mission statement, you know, like I want to do X, Y, and Z because, and it could be anything from starting a business to moving to another country to, again, getting married, becoming a mom, anything that's aligned with you. So just sort of getting really, really clear on the why, because when you think about it, everything that we do and everything that we want it because of how it will make us feel or how we think it will make us feel, right? So it's about aligning with the feeling and then looking at ways we can reflect it in our daily life. Because at the end of the day, you know, if you want to be truly aligned with yourself, it's not about doing that, you know, from time to time. It's a full-time job, but the most beautiful job. It's about creating those beautiful pockets of peace or building beautiful, morning rituals that reflect that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Marta. And thank you so much, Bashir, and everybody else who's joined us today. Your comments and questions have really been, I always learn from the comments as well. And Marta, it's been amazing talking to you. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. I think it's even some things, of course, I've heard, but it's so nice to hear it from somebody else and in a different way. And it's a reminder again, isn't it? Because I think, I know I do, I need reminding of this every day. So how can people find you?
Right. Okay. So first place you can find me is Instagram. I've added the handle over here to my name. Also my website, which it's perhaps a little bit difficult to spell out. I don't know if I can put it down.
We can't write in these comments. It doesn't let us.
Right. Okay.
But you can put it on the post in LinkedIn.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, it's a Swedish name, so I'm sure that Swedish listeners tuning in, they would be able to spell it out. But otherwise, if you just want to leave a link later on, and I'm always on Instagram, so you can definitely find me there, and also here on LinkedIn, of course.
Amazing. And yes, and please check out Marta's Instagram. It's absolutely amazing. It's definitely makes you feel good by looking at that. And Magda says, heartwarming conversation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Magda.
Thank you so much, Marta. Thank you, everybody. I will see you next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Marta.